Hi, welcome to a crafting session where we're going to be making Advent wreaths. Our theme this year at MCC, and thank you for joining us, our theme is We Believe, Even When. We can't begin to count the number of adversities that we've seen this year, the number of things we've had to overcome. And by working together, we are truly a blessed people, and we believe no matter what, even when. So what we've decided to do this year is to try and keep things simple. We've adopted a blue and silver color theme for our Advent wreath, for all of our decorating here in our chapel. And we took into account that it's been a rough year, and maybe our finances are not where they were a year ago, where we wanted them to be. So for the majority of everything that we're going to be working with, we went to our local dollar store, or we went to our own home stash of things that we already have. So there's a couple of different things. At the dollar store, they didn't sell nice dollar wreaths, but sell Garland. And this is 15 feet of Garland for $1. So what I've done is I've bought one, I've opened the ends of it and stretched it out so that it's in a nice wreath shape. From there, I just take a piece of floral wire and just go in and start wrapping around. What that's going to do is instead of all these separate layers, it's going to be all one layer together. You can use as much wire as you need to, and then just tie it off when you're done. That way you've got a $1 wreath to start with, and you can decorate that up with the flowers and all whatever you get at the dollar store. That's one option for you. Another option, the dollar store does sell these styrofoam wreath forms, and they also sell the tooling. This is actually a grayish silver with sparkle all over it, which is going to get all over the table and all over you, but it works nicely to wrap around the wreath form. What you see here is just one roll of the tooling. Very easy to start. You would take the end and gather that end up. And then I like to start on the inside of the wreath. And I take what's actually a boutonniere pin. It's a little pearl-headed pin. And stick that right through and into the styrofoam form. That just anchors that tooling onto the form. And it's as simple as going around and around and around with the tooling. Now, since I got so far with just the one roll, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the second roll around here and get a little more coverage. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's nothing right or wrong. It's just covering that wreath form. And when you're done, you've got the wreath form covered in your tooling, you can decorate it up with the shiny baubles that you can get from the dollar store. They come in a tube like this, and there's 12 of them in this size pack. They come a little larger as well. Again, for $1, there's 7 pieces in that size. Those onto here. You can also get the little garlands that the dollar store sells as well. This is 25 feet of little snowflakes. Quick, easy, and simple. That's what this year is all about. Simple. So there's another option. Now, all Advent wreaths need candles. It all revolves around a candle. You can use the dollar store glass candle taper holders and the tapers that you can get from the dollar store. That's perfectly fine if you want a live flame. If you have little ones at home and you don't want to have the live flame around your little kids or whatever, then you can do something else. I've been saving toilet paper rolls because there's a lot of Christmas crafts you can do with these. You can actually cut them and then glue them together and make snowflakes out of them. They're really adorable. I don't have one finished to show you, but that's what you do with them. You can also use, this is the roll from inside of the tool that I just finished earlier. You can use paper towel roll. Any and all of those give you different sizes. You can cut them down to whatever size. Now, the one from inside the tool is actually a little bit stronger than what the toilet paper roll is, but the end product is going to look like this. It's a candle that you can put the flameless flame on top of. Now, I did not find these at the dollar store. Some dollar stores have them, but I ended up going to one of the fabric and craft stores in town on the candle. And I also found some other things that I'm going to be using as well. The wreath that I'm actually going to do for you, this was a $20 wreath at the craft store, but I happened to hit one of their early bird specials, doorbusters, I think they call them. So it was really inexpensive. That's what we're going to decorate. Now I did get some ribbon as well, and this was at the dollar store. 12 feet of ribbon for $1. And I've cut 4 pieces out of it so far. It's about a half a yard long. Now, I'm going to show you how to wire things up. And same method we're going to use to wire these little ribbon loops, you can use to wire up the baubles here. You can wire anything, basically, a piece of artificial fruit, whatever, the same method. And it's going to use, again, the floral wire. Go. I've cut this in half, so it's about 8 inches long, maybe. All right, so you make it into the shape of a old-fashioned hairpin. One side can be longer than the other, or they can be the same size. It does not matter. Take your ribbon, you make a smaller first loop, fold it back up, make a little bit longer second loop, fold it back up, and leave that tail hanging. Then you take your piece of wire with a loop at the top, place it on the ribbon, pinch it all together, and then take one piece of that wire and wrap it around. You want to go at least twice. You can go more than that. That's what's going to anchor that ribbon with the wire. Now, why are we leaving this end out here just kind of hanging off to this end? As we're going to make what we call dovetails. So if you fold your ribbon lengthwise in half, what you want to do is you want to cut from the open end down towards the folded end. Folded end, there's the open end. Cut in a downward motion, so you're cutting a V out of it. A little bit closer. There we go. There's the piece that came out. That creates the dovetail. So I've only cut 4 of those that I'm going to add into here, but you can add as much ribbon as you want to. So let me finish off that other piece so that I have all 4 ready to go when we use them. Again, just loops one longer than the other, and the tail that hangs. The piece of wire, fold it in half, and then wrap. There we go. So I will go ahead and cut all the dovetails now before I get them on the wreath. Just makes it a little bit easier to do. 2, 3, and the 4th one. There, those are ready. Now I'm going to show you, actually, before we go any further, how to do the candle. Take a pipe cleaner. You want to fold it in half, again, that's that old-fashioned hairpin look. Fold it in half again, so that you've got 4 pieces out of 1. Now, cut it with your scissors. But if you do that, buy a pair of dollar store scissors and use it just for wire, because otherwise you can use scissors, wire cutters. So snip those little loops And now you have 4 pieces of Pioneer chenille stem. Put it across the top. Find where the ends come to at the side of the toilet paper roll. And then just bend that down the side. You're going to do that 2 in each direction. Create kind of like a grid on the top of your toilet paper roll. Oh, and then 2 in the opposite direction. All right. Now, once you've got that together, it's just going to be hanging off the top like that. It's going to be a little bit funny looking, but okay. Just start going around the top, anchoring those pieces of chenille stem to the cardboard. It doesn't have to be on there real tight. It's just the first level holding it onto the cardboard so that when you're done, it will look like that. Then take your packaging tape. It's about so long. Now you go around there, and that's going to anchor it really well. Why do you do this? That's going to help to support the candle. Okay. Now that tape is a lot stronger, so that will hold nicely. Now then, let's see this one and all right. So you take a piece of wrapping paper. I went with the blue foil that you can get at the dollar store again. Cut a square or a rectangle and just put it over the top and pull it down nicely like so. Again, take your tape. Add it. There it is. Try and pull that as taut as you can. And then just put a piece of paper around it to kind of hold it. It doesn't have to be really, really tight and a good finish on there because you're going to go around it again with more foil so that you can cover the top. So that's the step to get to that. Okay. But once you have all 4 of those done, you're ready for your Advent wreath. Now, traditional colors are purple for 3 candles and a pink orchidy color for the 4th candle. In the middle of this, you do have what is referred to as the Christ candle. So I bought a dollar store pillar. Now, I can do the exact same thing with a dollar store pillar and then flame with light. So you can do that, or you can cover a different cardboard roll for a taller effect going in the center. It would give kind of a look. All right, so once you've got all that assembled, time to start on the actual wreath. Now, I'm going to go with the quick, easy method, so I'm using my glue gun. I bought some white dollar store poinsettias that we're going to use. I like to look at the wreath almost like a clock face, so that you can start with where you're going to place your flowers and your shiny baubles or whatever. So start off with your number 12. And you can just take these right off. You don't need the stems because you can actually glue it right in and it's fine. With the Advent wreath, it's going to sit on the table anyway. It's not going to have to hang on a wall. So as you look at it, that's how it needs to be when it's finished. You don't really need a stem. Just pull off the actual bloom. So start off with your 12, 6, 3, and 9 positions with your poinsettias, one kind. Then I've got some other poinsettias. It's got some sort of a lacy effect on the inside. You can mix those in as well. You might want to go down for the edge when you do that. Kind of fill in the space. And you want to be like here. And if you notice, I'm just like sticking them on. They're not glued anywhere, so you can move them around if you decide. Now that one doesn't look good just right there. It needs to move over a quarter of an inch from the ground. So we just used the beginning of the clock face for the positioning of the main flower. After that, you just so that when you get that all glued together, it's gonna look like that. So bear with me while I start gluing. Glue on the back of it and press it in. Move on to your secondary flowers. Okay, so that's all 8 of those blooms that are glued in. By the time you get to the last one, pretty much they're all ready to go on to the next step. So I'm going to start with my larger balls here, and I'm going to open the package. Should have done that ahead of time. There we go. We're going to really destroy it. That's okay. We're going to put a lot of these on the wreath, so we're not going to need to store a lot of it. All right, now they come with these little pieces of string to string them if you're going to hang them on a tree or something. You don't need that. So just take them and put the end that you would normally hang from the tree down into the wreath and around as you. Go. Now, remember, we do have the smaller sizes too, so we will be doing a mixture of both sizes on the wreath. And kind of go around the wreath, both in and out, filling in open areas that you decide you want to have a larger one at. Maybe like so. And maybe down here for the last. I end up putting those. So let's go ahead and glue these in next before we move on to the next one. So again, a little bit of glue around that end cap that's on there. that in, kind of hold that for a little bit because the greenery is going to try and pop it out. Once it actually, takes hold, good. I'll get that one in a minute. And it's getting close now to where I need to add another glue stick. If you don't have a glue gun at home, I highly suggest getting a glue gun. They are awesome. I don't know what I did. They do have some at the dollar store. They're a little bit smaller than that, and the glue sticks are smaller diameter as well, but you can find them there. I can't tell you how many glue guns that I have gone through over the years. I used to be a floral designer. That was my first career. And so I bought a professional glue gun, and that was a wonderful investment. It stayed with me for years. I finally burned it out. And there. And again, just about everything you see here was from the dollar store, with the exception of the Wreath Form on this one. So it's not a really big investment. If you have the cardboard, toilet paper rolls or paper towel roll, that's something you're repurposing. That's a wonderful thing to do. Okay. And it really does not take a lot on these wreaths. Now, we did do these little things of ribbon loop. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the wire that's hanging off the end, I'm going to kind of fold it up on itself so that it's more like a tiny little stem. And that way we can stick that in there with a little bit of glue and it's good to go. So the glue will hold in that wire right there like so. And then just stick it down inside like that. And after it's dried, it'll look kind of like that. So you can just fold your wire up on itself a couple of times. A little bit of glue in there. This side. You want to try and not get the hot glue on your fingers. That hurts. Okay. Sometimes you'll notice that the flowers from the dollar store, they don't look really full. That's because the second layer has not been spread out. So by all means, go ahead and spread it out. It's artificial. And again, just kind of going back to that original clock-based pattern with this 3, 6, 9, and 12 position for your ribbon loops. You can add as many as you want. Got 12 on that whole ribbon. All right, then over here. Now, what I do like to do after I have glued everything is I like to go back and just give a little slight tug on everything to make sure that it's actually staying the glue, and you don't have to re-glue anything. That all looks good. So that's the wreath so far. Now I am going to add a few more of the little ones in just to finish off whatever blank spots. Because I see over here, there's a spot, maybe I need a solo or something like that. That's what I'm going to do. So bear with me while I get this package open and filling in the final spaces. You can get some other florals from the dollar store, like little berries or holly leaves, whatever, especially if you decide you're going to do a traditional red and green theme. Holly leaves would work nicely in there to fill in a hole. So we're going in here. You can actually get glass baubles as well. You get a string of garland, like the beaded strings of garland, and put that down around first. Lots of different ideas. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. That's why I like to shop at the dollar store for little things like that. And we are just an idea of what the whole thing looks like when you're finished. Okay, that side looks pretty good. Around, we'll see if there's any other spots that need something. Yeah, something needs maybe like that. Okay. I'm gonna put another blue one over here on this side. And a silver one over here. Okay, now you need something there as well. I think I want a silver one there though. Yeah. All right. And I think that's pretty much everything we're going to be doing on that one. So that's what the wreath looks like. You could hang that on a door, but with this, it's going to be laying flat. Now, we do have our candles. You want to work these into the center here, like so. Now, you have it sitting on your table. You have all the greenery out from underneath the candle. It should fit flat. And then you would simply put your tea light on the top of each one of them. And as you light your candles for Advent, one per week, you simply pull the little plastic tab out, and then you flip the little switch on, and you set it on top. price candle is only lit on Christmas Eve. Now, there's not a lot of room in this one to put that in the center, but you can squeeze it in there. About these, since they're cardboard, they are a little forgiving. Okay, then you would have the price candle down in the center. I do like the idea of finishing off the taller one. It's going to be blue unless you buy another roll of film and do that one in silver. That's an idea for you as well. You put that on the top. That's a nice look as well. So there is our Advent wreath. You can use anything that you have at home. Buy things at the dollar store, or if you want to go and spend a little bit of money, their fabric and craft stores have a lot of things as well. Hopefully this gives you a few ideas of where to start. There's no wrong. Your creativity is your limit.